I'll get started. Training. 13 is a lightning session. So the topic here is web anonymity, and in class we talked about Tor. We did a lab with Tor, and so it's useful for security researchers, and especially in our malware analysis, because we can go out and if we suspect someone we find on the internet of writing malicious code, we can visit their website or visit their blog and keep ourselves anonymous. So for Tor, now we did it in class, but I'll do a little bit of a review here. So how Tor works: step one, you download the Tor client, and the Tor client obtains for you a list of Tor nodes and from a Tor directory server. So your machine goes out to this client, finds the Tor nodes, and your Tor client picks a random path between the nodes and finds its way to the destination server. And then the end node going from, in my picture, server 2, from the end exit node to server 2. And if you want to visit a different server, then it picks a totally different random path to connect to that different destination server, again through a exit node. So the traffic from your client to the exit node is all encrypted, and it only gets decrypted when it goes from the exit node to the actual server you're trying to contact. So the good thing about Tor is it provides you with anonymity, and it's an open source tool, so you can go out, download it, look at the code, do whatever you want with it. The only cons is right now it's only natively supported in the Firefox browser, so you go out and get, like we did, the Tor browser bundle. And along with this, there's no plugins allowed, so you can't run things like Silverlight, Java, which aren't necessarily a bad thing, but you can't run those. But something like Flash is kind of useful, because a lot of websites still use Flash in their support. HTML5 is supposed to replace that, but Flash is still highly supported on different websites. And then also in the presentation by Jason, he said that Firefox has seen more discovered vulnerabilities in the O days than even IE has. So I still won't use IE, but I actually use Chrome anyway. So another problem with Tor is that there's not a lot of support for TCP proxying using the socks. So, and even when there is, DNS usually doesn't work through the SOCKS proxy. So the solution that these guys came up, they all work for a organization called CrowdStrike, is that the solution we need is all TCP and DNS traffic should be routed through Tor. No traffic should go onto the internet unless it goes through Tor. We want it to be usable on the most popular OS, which, Microsoft Windows has a huge share in the marketing department of what OS most people use. And we also don't want to let malware bypass the Tor tunnel and divulge users' information such as their IP address. We also don't want the user to have to get any extra hardware or extra VMs that they would need in resources. So there are some existing solutions outside of what the guys at CrowdStrike came up with. There's hardware-based proxies, but again, there you're going to need to actually go out and buy the hardware. There's software-based proxy, which is usually not usable with Windows, or requires that you use a non-Windows VM, so an extra non-Windows VM that's going to take up more of your memory and things like that. There's the operating system Tails, which is Debian-based, but again, that's not Windows, and most people are using Windows. For Windows, there's a solution called TorCap, but within TorCap, there's a vulnerability where you can bypass the WinSock hooks with certain malicious code. So now, here's what Tortilla actually looks like. So the Tortilla client consists of two components. So you have the Tortilla client that runs in user mode, and then also you have this Tortilla adapter that runs in your kernel, in the kernel mode. And inside of a VM, you have your network applications. And they run inside the VM because using the VM, malicious code can't circumvent your Tor tunnel to go back to the internet and discover information about your host system. So one of the benefits of Tortilla is that your VM application you're using, whether it's Workstation, VMware Player, or anything else, doesn't matter. And also the guest operating system on the VM doesn't matter. Most people that are running Windows are probably going to have a Windows VM, but you could use something like Linux as well. So what Tortilla does is installs a network adapter, so this Tortilla virtual network adapter, and disables all network component bindings except for a virtual network bridge, and I'll show you that when I do a demo here in a bit. So then, once that's set up, you configure your virtual machine platform to bridge the VM's virtual network card to the Tortilla adapter. So now your Tortilla client receives all layer 2 traffic from the VM. The Tortilla client includes a basic DHCP server and an ARP responder that basically just give the VM an IP. And you also have a DNS server within your Tortilla client that repackages any DNS requests you get from the VM to the internet and sends them through the Tor network, asking that the exit node actually does the DNS lookup, and then takes it and again repackages it back from that exit node to your virtual machine. So the last thing that the Tortilla client has is the lightweight TCP IP stack, and that's so that it can support TCP sessions. So this is supported as of right now on basically all the Microsoft Windows operating systems beyond XP and including XP. To install it, pretty easy. You can just go to Google, type in Tortilla, or look for CrowdStrike, and it ships as an executable, tortilla.exe. Running the executable installs the adapter and its driver and starts the client. And then the client can now accept your traffic from your VM. One of the other usage kind of tidbits is that you can store traffic in a PCAP file on your host system. So all the traffic that goes through this network, the Tortilla adapter, can get captured. One of the troubles I found while running this, and I kind of think I ran into the troubles mostly because I'm running Windows 8, is that you need to allow test sign drivers on your system. So now we'll actually get into it and I'll show you what it does. So I have Tor here. I went and downloaded the Tor Expert Bundle, and I'll run Tor. Every time you do that, and eventually I have so as this is going through, see I guess while we're waiting, I go to settings. Right now it's identifying, but you can see that it's there. Now that it's done to receive network traffic from the virtual machine, go. We go into Workstation, which is what I have, but like I said, you could use anything. What I want to do is work with the virtual. Now I have the adapter, and I want And I want to bridge to the Tortilla adapter. And we'll apply that. Okay. Now we should be ready to set up the VM. I'm going to use a Windows 7 VM, which is what I have here. Yeah, it's mine. Uh-oh. Oh, that's because I already have it open. Sorry. Oh, you can stop now. Here we go. So I need to go into the settings on the VM and change the network adapter so that we are custom, and we want that virtual network adapter I set up to bridge to the Tortilla adapter, and we want to be connected. So now that that's ready, should be able to enable this, and we should see that we are getting DNS queries. And I think we're on the network. So as a demo, I'll show, we'll see where I'm at with GeoIP tool. Looks like I'm in the UK somewhere. Maybe I'm in Liverpool, that'd be pretty cool. But it even, shows that, look, I'm in London. So now I'll show that Flash works. It looks like that's working just fine. So yeah, things like I do this using Putty or with quick demo, show the Flash works in a different place than where I'm actually at in Madison, South Dakota. So now I'll go back to my slides. So, in summary, Tortilla is a free open source tool that allows anonymous routing DNS traffic through the internet. It doesn't require any extra hardware or VMs besides the one you're going to use to run your traffic. And then the Tortilla platform does not allow malware to bypass the Tor tunnel and divulge information about your host. And also, tacos are tasty. So for this video, if anybody has any questions, you can comment on the YouTube video or you can send me an email right there on the screen. But thanks for listening.